Well, hello there. This is Skip McCoy. Welcome to RiverSoft University. This segment is scheduling part 2. We're going to learn about visits, supply items, service items, pay items, and travel locations. I'm going to start here by clicking on the Client Patient Schedule feature. Choose a client. I'm going to show you how to put in a brand new visit. So right-click on the day you want, create the visit, choose your peer skill. These are the allowed skills that have been configured for this client. Home health aid. I've just created the visit. I've got a not assigned home health aid visit for Margaret. Before I assign an employee to this and make it a confirmed visit, just want to show you around the screen. This is the office code and visit number, the status pull down, the compliance status and who verified it, the visit date, so I can move the visit using this control here, the visit start time, the visit end time. If I change the visit end time, I can make the visit longer. If I change the visit start time, I can move the visit in the day. Specific times means these times matter, and this will overlap with other visits. If I uncheck specific times, it means these times are just placekeepers. This is a placekeeper visit, and it can't overlap with another visit that has specific times. Supervisory means that this is a nurse visit, and they're supervising an aide. Already paid tells the payroll export feature not to send this visit to the payroll system because arrangements have already been made in the payroll system to pay this person for the visit. This is the pay and bill rate area, regular, holiday, and overtime hours and rates. The rate source, this $24 hour rate source came from the office default pay rate for the skill, and those are configured right here. The bill rate of $49.28 came from the payer rate table, so that was keyed in at the payer source for that skill and subskill. Another thing about pay rates is we always calculate pay as in terms of hours and rate. Even if you enter the rate by visit, we're going to calculate an hourly rate. So we're going to say it's a 2-hour visit. You put in $100 per visit, so that's $50 an hour. If I make it a 3-hour visit, the rate is $33.33. So anytime you look on a report in RiverSoft Office regarding the pay for a visit, we're going to show you the hours and the pay rate. The reason we do that is federal law, wage and hourly law, dictates that you pay people a number of hours at a rate so that they can accumulate benefits, hourly benefits. The biggest benefit accumulated, of course, is overtime. Down here is the payroll date and the payroll exported. When this visit actually is sent to the payroll system, we're going to record the week ending date of the payroll and the actual date that this visit was exported to the payroll system. This is additional text that will show with this visit on the invoice if it's typed in here. And visit comment is something you can add to the visit anytime, even after it's closed. Okay, now I'm going to choose an employee for this unassigned visit. I'm going to go find the best employee that fits this visit. So here's all the employees that fit. I got a total of 54 employees in my database. 36 have been filtered out because they don't match the skill. 1 has been filtered out because that employee overlaps with another visit. Each one of these is a filter on the employee. So this is a filter for skill, this is a filter for the type of employee, filter on affiliation, sex, whether or not they're going into overtime, whether or not they're going into Obamacare territory, whether or not they overlap a visit, whether or not they've ever visited the client before, whether or not their tracking items are expiring, if they've got a client preference, or if they've got an availability entrance, and finally distance from home. These are all unknown because none of these employees' addresses were verified. So with this, I'm going to choose the very first employee here. Use the phone log to log that I'm calling the employee at this number. Ring, 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 hello, would you like this visit at $33.33 an hour? And I'm going to pretend that Jennifer refused. She's got better things to do today, so I'm just going to save this. I'm going to go back to my next choice. I'm going to call Sandra at this number. Ring, ring, ring. Sandra accepts. Very good. So now I've got a complete log of how many people I called in order to fill this visit. That's useful for two reasons. One, I can show my supervisor how hard I worked at filling this visit. And the other thing is, if an employee files a workers' compensation claim, I can now generate a report very easily. It shows how many times we offered that person work, when, and for how much, and what they said. Okay, so now that's a confirmed visit. It's got this green border. Show how that looks on the schedule. There it is right there. If I wanted to verify the visit, turn it this nice blue color. That would mean I had the time slip in my hand. I just edit the visit, look at the times. Maybe the times are a little bit off, and I'd just adjust the times to match the time slip, and then I'd verify the visit. So that's how you manually verify a visit. You can also use the verification view, which is right here, or the fastest way to verify visits is to let the Elvis monitor verify them. The Elvis monitor listens for time slip information from the Elvis phone apps and from the RiverSoft mobile tablets. And when it gets that time slip information, as long as they're within tolerance, the visits will just become verified automatically. Okay, fixing a closed visit. Let me go to another place. There's two types of closed visits. Closed visits that aren't billed, and this one's not billed because there's no little green arrow on it, and visits that are billed. So let's talk about changing a closed visit. And a closed visit went through the close process and it's locked down. I can't change it unless I want to do an adjustment. But let's say this actually was an error for one reason or the other, and I don't want to bill it. If I don't want to bill it ever because it's just a flat mistake, I click on this, Do Not Bill. And when I get out of here, you'll see that it's like it never happened. It's still here. We want an audit trail of what happened, but this will never appear in a bill. Now, if I wanted to create a replacement visit, maybe it's the wrong skill, maybe it's the wrong payer, I could go into this visit, and just copy the visit with zero pay. And that would create me a replacement visit. When I marked this visit as Do Not Bill, it did not touch the payroll component because the person probably has already been payrolled and we don't want to mess with that. So marking it Do Not Bill just wiped out the sales component. So if I want to replace it, it's kind of nice to have that feature to copy it as a visit with no pay because, like I said, the person's already been paid. Okay, now there's visits that have been closed and billed, and let's say there's a problem with this. Let's say that this was on the wrong date. So I could just go in here, adjust the invoice line, and there it is right there. And I'm just going to move it. It was on the wrong day. I'm going to move it on the 14th. Save. And there it is on the 14th. If I go back in here and look at how that looks on the invoice, you can see there it is on the 14th. That's a version 2. Okay. From here, I can also look at the statement for this client. And I can actually look at the clinical note that this visit came from. So this goes all the way back to the source clinical note. So from scheduling, I can look backwards into the source of where this visit came from, and I can look forward to how it was invoiced. And I also do adjustments from here. Normally your billing adjustments are going to be done in the AR feature. They're going to be done right on the invoice. But you can do those same adjustments right from the schedule. Okay, let's look at some other features here. On a visit, you can just void the pay. So for some reason, this payroll information right here, let's pretend it was incorrect and this person was paid in another way. If we don't want this, if it wasn't exported, then we can come in here and void the pay and would actually do an adjustment and reduce the cost of this visit to zero. So that would affect your payroll and your cost side of your sales reports. There's also travel pay and that's right here. So you can enter a mileage amount and a rate, and this would be the travel pay that they're going to be paid. And you can also bill mileage, so mileage, rate, and the amount of miles is going to be billed. Now this is going to be automatically calculated in another feature called AutoPay Mileage. So if you use the AutoPay Mileage feature, we'll actually make those calculations for you and update the visits for you automatically. Okay. Let me show you about supply items now. To create a supply item, you right click on the day you want it, create supply item, and this list of supplies is configured right here. So from that list, you choose the supply you want. The unit bill's right here, unit cost right here, the quantity's right here. You proudly update the quantity, save it, and then you could click the new button again and add a new supply. That comes in handy for hospice patients where you might have to add 15 or 20 supplies in one day. That's what a supply looks like. Likewise, you can add service items, and these are the service items right here. They are configured in the configure menu and services right here. So you choose your service items, the payer, it defaults to the date you clicked on, make sure the quantity is right, unit bill, unit cost, save it, and there's your supply. Okay, for these last two features, I'm going to go over to employee scheduling, show you how to put a pay item in. Okay, create a pay item. Here's the types of pay items you can create, and we're going to give her a bonus for this day, pay amount $50, and bonuses can also be billed to a client, so you can choose a client to bill that bonus to, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to make it a pay only, and that's how you put a pay item in. That's going to flow to your payroll system. Here, there's already a travel location in here. I'm just going to add another one. Travel location is a place that they're traveling to during the day. Travel locations are configured right here, authorized travel locations. And it's important that you enter the date and the time, the to location, and optionally a comment. And when they save this, that will just be another item on their route for that day. And we're calculating the mileage, both the reimbursement mileage and the travel time mileage. We will use these travel locations to gauge where they went during the route, because we have to figure out the miles they drove and the time they spent in the car. There's another video specifically on calculating mileage and how to use those features. Okay, that was scheduling part 2. That's everything you need to know about creating visits, verifying visits, fixing closed visits, and adding in supply items, service items, pay items, and travel locations. This is Skip McCoy signing off for RiverSoft.